added more drawing on top, and then there's some debris in here that was placed. Hi guys, my name is Yorie, and I'm one of the effects artists that work on the Bad Guys too. Thanks. Oh, thank you, Brooke. That was fun. Sometimes I always forget that I was on stage. I was like, wait, it's like I should be too relaxed here. So anyway, so we saw the first sequence in the movie Bad Guys 2 where they stole a car from this billionaire guy, and they ran off with the car and drove around the city, and then the cops, and the cops were chasing them on the scooters. So our job, in effect, is like making all the tire smoke behind them. So we're gonna talk about the breakdown, how we do it. So I can show you this one. They went through the market, they destroy everything they pass, and there's like a big billowy smoke behind them. And this is actually a combination of 2D animation and 3D simulation. The 3D simulation is, we do it like we always do, like with volume, but then we have to convert it into points, and then after that, we're gonna turn it into something that looks like 2D. So before we begin the shot, we will have a launch by the head of effects, the visual VFX soup, and the directors, how they want us to do the smoke, how it's supposed to look like, how it should behave. So we got this style guide that was provided by us, and it was drawn by the 2D artist that we have. We only have one 2D effects artist for this movie. His name was Olivier, and he lives in Australia. So we first, they told us, okay, if it's in a profile shot, make sure, I don't know where mouse is. Where? I can't see. Where? Okay. Anyway, so if it's in a profile, they want us to do smoke that starts behind the wheels, and it's kind of spiky, and then it evolves into this nice blowy smokes behind them. And then once they pass, it's gonna get bigger. And then once it's a 3/4 view, they want the smoke behind them, but try not to, obscure them, not to cover them. And also you can see here, like each of them will have their own spiky bits of smoke behind the wheels. And they want us to make sure each of them have their own trails, but it becomes one big smoke behind. And this is from the front, but in the movie we end up not having this giant smokes for some reason. I don't remember why, but so this is again another style guide that was provided, and again they remind us to have the trails from each of the scooters, but do not make it individual smokes like this, but instead make it a nice silhouette behind them. And this is the style guide when they went through the market part, and they want us to fill out the space with a big billowy smoke behind them. And also there's some layers that was needed. So like in the front, all the debris that, like the fruits, the toys, the car, anything. And then again, that spiky dust behind them, and then more debris, and then more big smoke behind all the scooters. So this is the sprite, some of the sprites that was provided by us by the 2D animators, and this is completely hand-drawn, and he gave us a few different variation of how, the size of the smoke. So, because we don't want each of the scooters has the same size of smokes or it behaves the same, so it needs to be have some variation. And this is, again, some of the sprites that was provided to us by the 2D animator. And this is for the wheels of the car, of the bad guys' cars, that we can just attach it to the wheel, the back wheel, while they're driving around. But only for like certain position, like on the side, so we can see like this cool little effects behind the wheels. And this is to be used for the scooters. Okay, so this is how I did the shot. So first, I would start, hold on. I'm gonna start, okay, this is the first step. I took the 2D sprites that was given to us, and then it was converted into a geo in 3D. And then I just put it, where I think it works behind the cops. And then after that, I simulate smoke simulation from the scooters, just like this, the volume trails. And then from the volume, we turn it into points. And then we gave the points some scale for each of them according to the age, and then it becomes this billowy VDB geo that then we can flatten it to become right behind them. Just particularly for this shot, because we don't want because they're so close to each other. We don't want to have smokes between them that's gonna cover them up too much, and because they're so close to the camera too, so we try to give them a nice silhouette behind the scooters. And again, this is what I started with, is just, flat smoke sprite behind the scooters. And this is the final shape behind them before I render it. And this is for the market shot. This one, because they coming and go, they're not so close to each other. This is a shot where we can actually put smokes behind between them. So we have the background smoke, and then in midground smokes, and also the foreground smoke. And this was not rendered flat behind them, like it wasn't, it's still in 3D space, because we want to see the depth of the smoke. And on top of that, we have this artist, Zach. He's really good at 2D animation too, and he added some nice 2D smokes behind there as well. And if you notice, some of the smokes actually in steps. So it's like, it's on hold for 2 frames. So it gives some nice variation for the shot. Okay, again, and this is where all the 2D sprites that was given to us, and then where it was placed. It's not so sexy when you see it in 3D space. It's just flat. Okay, I'm gonna show some other behind the scene of the shot that was done. So we started with 3D simulation, and then added some 2D drawing that we do in 3D. Actually, we have these tools that allows us to draw in 3D space. And that's like, it gives us an actual geo. And you can give it some colors and some highlights to break up the shape. And yeah. So it's not, from the 3D simulation, it just gives us this like big shapes. But because we're able to draw on the 3D space, it allows us to add these nice little trails to break up all the silhouette. And then again, this is, it started with 3D simulation. We turned the volume that we did into a geometry and then made it look like 2D and then added more drawing on top. And then there's some debris in here that was placed as well. Okay. The same thing. Here's, starts with 3D simulation, just some blobby shapes that turns into a shape that looks like a 2D animation, and then some hand-drawn smokes as well. And this is one of my favorite shots. It was done by Zach. And you can see the bad guys car passing by with this smoke. This one is actually a sprite. This is just a 2D animation that was placed over there. And he has 3D simulation, and then he added some more drawing on top, and he breaks up all the shadows to make it look like it's motion blurred a little bit, and he break up the highlights as well. And actually, pretty cool thing is when we change the volume that we did in 3D into geometry, we have this light that we can control where the highlight's gonna be or where the shadow is gonna be. So we have fully control over the color as well. Okay, so this is the last shot. I mean, not the last shot. It's one of, ones before they get away. So the big crane fell onto the bridge, and then, big simulation happened, big smokes behind them. So again, you can see we start with 3D simulation, and this is the light that I was talking about. You can see, you can adjust the shadows, the highlights on the smoke. And yeah, this is Anyang's shot, and she added a background smoke that's very light behind, and then it's getting, it's very opaque here, and there's some foreground smoke as well. And I want to show you something. Hold on. In the beginning of the shot, this is actually sprites. When the car landed on the street, it's actually 2D, and then 3D combination with it. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.